Good morning, everyone. Sorry. Readers of the National, how are you? I'm Ninian Wilson. I'm one of the digital reporters here at the National. I'm joined by Sophie Parsons, our social media boss and genius. And we're just going to talk, as we always do, we're going to talk through the major stories of the day, what's been happening, and just what you need to keep a wee eye out on. So, Sophie, do you want to start us off with the front page?
Yeah, so it's a cracking story on the front page this morning by our colleague, political reporter Hamish Morrison. So he exclusively revealed that back in 1994 at the Lib Dem conference, Liz Truss said she believed in referenda on major issues. Which obviously puts quite a lot of pressure on her current stance on the Scottish independence referendum. So it's been quite a big part of all the Tory leadership candidates' campaigns has been sort of their opposition to holding another Scottish referendum. And now there's sort of pressure on both final candidates, Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak, both revealed by the National, by our great team of reporters, because last week we splashed on Rishi Sunak had said that there should be, he sort of said that another referendum could happen after Brexit. In 2017, he said that, and obviously now the Brexit deal's done. And now Hamish has revealed that Liz Truss in 1994, so she said that she believed people she did not believe that people should put up and shut up about decisions that affect their everyday lives.
Yeah.
She said, in her speech, this was at the Liberal Democrats conference in 1994, she joined the Tory party in 1996, but previously was a very active member of the Lib Dems. She was the president of the Lib Dem Society at Oxford Uni. So speaking in 1994, she said, "We Liberal Democrats believe in opportunity for all. We believe in fairness, common sense. We believe in referenda on major constitutional issues. We do not believe that people should be born to rule or that they should put up and shut up about decisions that affect their everyday lives." So this was in reference to, she was calling for a referendum on the monarchy, which is another interesting sort of tidbit. But it's sort of gold dust for us, isn't it?
Yeah, I think all these unearthed comments is like food for thought for opposition parties. The SNP and the Greens up here and other parties that support independence. I think it really undermines the credibility of Liz Truss's position on issuing a Section 30 order or any just or general stance on Scottish independence. I think we've seen that with Rishi Sunak recently as well. Their opinions, what they say, will change to the situation, it has been a tough week for Liz Truss's credibility. Really, I think it kind of feeds into another story that another national exclusive that we had. I think it was Hamish as well about. I might be wrong there, but I think it was about the money that she'd spent on private government flights, jets, taxpayers' cash.
Yeah, £500,000 taxpayers' funds in a very short period of time.
Very short period of time. I think about 300 grand of that was to Thailand. There was a couple other places in Southeast Asia. And it was just in, I think it was November last year, and it was a really short space of time. I mean, I don't understand how any flight could be that expensive. I've never booked a private jet, to be fair, but one of the lines in that really made me chuckle was someone close to Liz Truss saying that actually because there was Wi-Fi on the planes that she could work more and harder. I don't understand. I don't know if she'd taken a leaf out of Jacob Rees-Mogg's book as far as how he sets up his office, but I'd be amazed if she didn't have Wi-Fi pretty much anywhere, wherever she worked. She is a government minister. It would be quite hard to do your job without that. But there you go. That's it's another day in the life of Liz Truss. I'm sure we will have much more on her in the coming weeks and months as her title challenge.
Yeah, it's interesting because so the Scottish Tories, obviously Douglas Ross has said that he's not backing any candidate. You never know what Douglas Ross is going to say, but he's not backing any candidate this time. So we won't have any more flip-flopping, which is new.
Yeah.
But we've got a story up on the site this morning by Steph Braun, one of our political reporters, that is about the Scottish Tories are begrudgingly supporting Rishi Sunak, but they're said not to be happy that the final two candidates were both members of Boris Johnson's cabinet. So yesterday, Davidson came out and wrote in the Telegraph about how she was supporting Rishi Sunak. And that sort of raised a few eyebrows because Ruth Davidson had been quite outspokenly critical of Boris Johnson and his shenanigans, shall we say, with Partygate. But Rishi Sunak was also fined for Partygate. That's an interesting one, that. But the rest of the Scottish Tories are, not Douglas Ross, but most of the Scottish Tories are supporting Rishi Sunak, but begrudgingly, supposedly.
Yeah, there was. I think one of the things was that a former Tory councillor now works for a Tory MSP. He said that there'd been a lot of anger and resentment about how the leadership race was shaping up, and then there was another line, something to do with a lot of us, from the Scottish Tory perspective, that a lot of them were supporting Sunak over Truss, and that said more about Truss than it did Sunak. So I think that says a lot about, first of all, it's going to be the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, and I think it says a lot about what Scottish Tories are saying about their own party, really. I mean, this is the talent that's being offered by the Scottish Conservatives. Seems to be so poor that even their own supporters, some party members, aren't really that into it. It does seem to me that a lot of people, Tories north of the border, were hoping for Penny Mordaunt. She's not in the race anymore, and when she fell out of the race, Liz Truss took the spot that one of those two was likely to take against Rishi Sunak. I think that deflated a lot of Scottish Tories and how they perceived the race. I think they feel a little bit, they probably feel quite sort of disengaged with it, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, it makes for, it's quite depressing, really, seeing that this is what's on offer for us. So clearly Scottish Tories feel the same way, but that's the way it is, I guess.
Should we talk about, so we follow politics very closely, but we also follow everything Scottish. And Steph's got a really nice piece this morning, doesn't she, Ninny? And this is also on the front page. Let's bring it back up now.
It is a lovely article, and I highly recommend, if any of you want to feel, brighten your day a little bit, I really do recommend you read it. Sometimes mainstream journalism focusing on politics can be a little bit exasperating, but this is such a lovely piece. It's Steph interviewed the captain of the Scottish hockey team ahead of the Commonwealth Games, and she'd featured in she'd featured in the UK team in the Olympics in Tokyo that won bronze, and she was speaking how the experience representing Scotland was different from was maybe a little bit more special than she was a little bit more amped up to represent Scotland, just because hearing our own national anthem, hearing the pipes. I think this was one of the lines that she said, and she spoke also about one of the best, one of the most interesting aspects of the article was just she spoke about the particular bond that the Scottish team had. They've played together across all the different age groups, under 16s, under 18s. And that bond really of knowing their teammates a little bit better, playing with them more regularly for their clubs, was something that they were really looking forward to bringing into the upcoming Commonwealth Games. And after reading it, you really do feel proud to be Scottish. So I really hope that if you're watching this, please give it a read. Steph did a really, really good job on that one, and also just best of luck to our Scottish women in the Commonwealth Games.
The Commonwealth Games get underway in Birmingham next Thursday, and obviously it's Team Scotland there, so the four nations are divided up. So it's Team Scotland, but yeah, it'll make for some great watching. Commonwealth Games are always good one to watch.
Yeah. We just one of the major stories from yesterday that we should also mention is that in the legal showdown between the UK and Scottish governments, a date has been set by the Supreme Court for when evidence will be heard on the case that will decide whether the Scottish Parliament has the authority, competency to hold another independence referendum without Section 30 order, without the consent of the UK Parliament. That's a really, really, really important date. Mark it in your calendars, mark it in your diaries. We've got comment from the SNP on that. I think something that's, if you obviously our readers are interested in Scottish independence, this is going to be one of the key battlegrounds of how independence is achieved. And I highly recommend you give that a read, because those dates are actually really, really important after the fact that we will be hearing evidence. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on that as well.
That'll be quite a big week because Steph and Adam pointed out yesterday during the live stream. That date is just after the SNP conference, which I believe is in Aberdeen.
Yeah, it's also a year before the planned date for the referendum as well. So
so there's a lot of dates, a lot of dates to remember. I feel like I'm revising for a history exam, but it's in the future. No, so we better go, Ninian.
Yeah, we better bounce out. But a pleasure as always, readers, and just keep reading the National, and let us know what you think about these stories, what you think about these issues in the comments. We love hearing from you. Other than that, have a great day.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.